Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Before I get on out of here, I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves Caitlin.
Everything we thought we understood about power in pro sports is on the verge of being wiped clean. For months, the conversation has revolved around the cheap shots, the disrespect, the jealousy aimed at Caitlin Clark. While veterans spent their energy roughing her up, someone with far deeper pockets was watching very closely. And this time, it's not about sneakers. It's not even about a contract bumped up. What's now being whispered is a billion-dollar disruption, and Stephen A. Smith just gave those whispers real credibility. Live on national TV. These rumors aren't living on Reddit threads anymore. Multiple reports suggest the Saudi Public Investment Fund is preparing a full-scale move into women's basketball, and at the center of it all are two names, Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham. Imagine that pairing. One of the greatest shooters of her generation matched with one of the most charismatic, marketable personalities in the sport. Together, they could headline a breakaway league the WNBA would have zero ability to stop. Stephen A. warned the WNBA months ago. He told them if they didn't protect their superstar, someone else would come in and buy the world around her. And now it looks like that prediction is inching toward reality. Why are executives panicking? Because look who's sounding the alarm. Stephen A. Smith, the one voice who has consistently called out how poorly the WNBA has treated Caitlin Clark. While others tried to downplay the hard fouls and the hostility, Stephen A. said what everyone else was afraid to admit: it was jealousy. Pure and simple. That he blasted the league for botching the greatest opportunity it has ever had. Clark flying commercial, the Kennedy Carter cheap shot, the Olympic snub. But now his tone has shifted. He's not critiquing anymore. He's warning. His message: you cannot bury a megastar in a system that pays her $76,000 while she generates hundreds of millions. If the WNBA won't elevate her, someone with unlimited money absolutely will, and he's right. Veterans thought they could pressure Clark into earning it the old school way. But today's sports world doesn't run on seniority. It runs on player power. By acknowledging these investment rumors on air, Stephen A. basically said what the league doesn't want to hear: you did this to yourselves. Let's talk money, because that's where the truth becomes unavoidable. The WNBA's salary cap is locked tight. Clark's rookie contract. For years, about $338,000 total, roughly $76,000 this season. Bench players in the NBA make that in a week. The league's excuse used to be, we don't have the revenue. But Caitlin Clark erased that excuse in 3 months. Attendance exploding. Record-breaking TV ratings. Jerseys selling out in minutes. That she's generating millions. That she's being paid pennies. Now enter the Saudi Public Investment Fund, a group that doesn't think in millions, or even hundreds of millions. They think in billions. When they look at Clark, they don't see a rookie. They see one of the most underpriced superstars in the world. That if the rumored $1 billion women's basketball venture is real, Clark's contract wouldn't be a salary, it would be a kingdom. Money big enough to surpass the lifetime earnings of every WNBA player combined. How do you compare that to $76,000? But here's the important part: this isn't just about signing one star. This is a strategic power play, one we've already seen before. Live Golf, the PGA Tour ruled golf for decades. Then Saudi money came in, bought the biggest names, Mickelson, Johnson, Koepka, and shook the sport to its core. Critics screamed sports washing, but players cashed the checks. Within a year, the PGA folded and merged. Insiders now believe that exact playbook is being pointed directly at women's basketball: low salaries, long-standing travel issues, years of frustration. The WNBA is vulnerable, and targeting Caitlin Clark means targeting the heartbeat of the sport. Without her, the WNBA slips back into obscurity. With her, a Saudi-backed league becomes the center of global sports conversation overnight. But one superstar alone can't launch a league. You need energy, personality, marketability. And that's why Sophie Cunningham keeps coming up. It's not about MVP trophies, it's about audience appeal. Sophie has a massive fan base. She's recognizable. She commands attention online. Broadcasters cut to her constantly because she drives engagement. Paired with Clark, she creates a perfect two-star launchpad for a new global league. Clark brings generational talent, Cunningham brings charisma and edge. Together, they're market gold. But here's the real question: why would Caitlin Clark even consider leaving the league she dreamed of playing in? because the WNBA didn't embrace her, it targeted her. From the trash talk on TV to the hard fouls to the inconsistent officiating, it felt like the veterans didn't want to mentor her, they wanted to humble her. The Kennedy Carter hip check wasn't basketball, it was a message. And it wasn't just the foul, it was the silence afterward that exposed everything. So why stay somewhere you're underpaid, underprotected, and undervalued when another league offers respect, superstar treatment, and 50 times the money? Ice Cube already tested the waters with his $5 million offer for 8 games. Clark turned it down because she wanted to give the WNBA a fair shot. That was before the targeting, before the Olympic controversy, before the non-stop pressure. Now the landscape is different, and $5 million looks like pocket change. This rumored league isn't a side gig. It's a complete alternative. Global events, first-class travel, no salary cap, massive upfront guarantees. Everything players have begged for. Everything the WNBA has failed to provide, and Commissioner Kathy Engelbert knows the stakes. The WNBA is in the middle of negotiating a massive media rights deal with Disney, Amazon, NBC, and every pitch they make revolves around one thing: Caitlin Clark. Take her out of the equation, the entire deal falls apart. Networks aren't paying billions for the WNBA. They're paying for the Clark effect. And if she walks away, the league's future collapses instantly. The same veterans who resented her could end up paying the price for pushing her away. The irony is brutal. Stephen A. warned them. They didn't listen. Of course, whenever Saudi money shows up, the moral outrage machine fires up. Human rights, sports washing, ethics. But Stephen A. has made one blunt point: principles don't pay your bills. No one complains when NBA players sign giant deals connected to China. LIV golfers took their money. Ronaldo took his. And after a few months of yelling, everyone moved on. Women athletes have been underpaid for decades. No one can criticize them for choosing life-changing money, because here's the truth: fans follow stars. If Clark and Cunningham played basketball on Mars, fans would tune in. Now zoom out again, because Sophie's rumored involvement hints at an even bigger vision. This new league may ditch the city-based model entirely and operate like tennis or golf, a global tour, Clark and Cunningham traveling to London, Tokyo, Dubai, New York, each event a spectacle. No empty regular season arenas. No back-to-backs. No cramped commercial flights. This model wouldn't steal the WNBA's diehard fans. It would steal every new fan, the millions who only tuned in because of Caitlin Clark. And what makes the rumors harder to dismiss? Silence. Clark's camp isn't denying it. Cunningham's camp isn't denying it. Stephen A. isn't calming it down. In sports, silence usually means one thing: something is happening behind the curtain. Combine that with the WNBA's grueling travel schedule and the mounting pressure, and the appeal of a billionaire-backed global league becomes impossible to ignore. So here we are, standing at the edge of the biggest transformation women's sports has ever seen. The WNBA had the gift of a generation dropped in its lap. Instead of building around her, jealousy and bad decisions pushed her away. If a Saudi-backed Super League truly launches with Clark and Cunningham headlining it, it won't just shake the WNBA. It will redefine the entire future of women's sports. This isn't a contract, this is a revolution. And the uncomfortable truth: the era of Clark and Cunningham may unfold outside WNBA jerseys. If that day comes, the league will have no one to blame but itself. At this point, the question isn't if she leaves, it's when. And when that historic press conference airs, when the number on that contract flashes across the screen, the sports world won't just shake. It will explode. So here's the final question: would you watch a breakaway Super League led by Clark and Cunningham, or stick with the WNBA?